Tootsie! Now that the family's here. Welcome to our first vlog podcast, however you are tuning in. I am Christy. I am the mother of this beautiful, beautiful goddess right here.
Ray of sunshine that she's so thankful for every day. I'm Taylor, and
well, the reason we're doing this podcast is because we have an unusual relationship, and people ask us all the time questions like, how are we so close? You know, they don't understand it sometimes. We get judgment, a lot of judgment.
Yeah.
And today we're talking about one of the most judged things that we get for it, which is adult cohabitation. Married spouses.
cohabitation, I like that word.
Yeah, who cohabitate. What a lot of people don't realize, I don't think, is how long she lived outside of the home.
Yeah.
On her own, the troubles and trials and all the things we went through. And then me getting cancer, which led us to our purpose, which led us back together. And another thing a lot of people don't realize is how huge and massive our house is. So
maybe one of these days
we talked about, yeah, we'll do a tour. We talked about getting like 2 duplexes and that kind of thing, because the bottom line is, Taylor, if you wanted to move out tomorrow with your spouse, can you?
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. If I wanted to go find my own place, go buy an apartment, go put that money in that place, we totally could. Like,
so
that is.
Stop saying that she won't fly unless she leaves the nest. Her income's fine, her career's fine.
Well, let's just talk about me when I did leave the nest. I left the nest at 18 years old. So I was 18 years old, and both me and my brother, we moved out. I moved into an apartment in, like, the ghetto, if there was a ghetto in the area.
If there's a ghetto in San Diego.
Yes, it was. It was just very, like, one street over, I swear I heard gunshots one night. I swear it happened. But, no, I moved in there, then I moved into another house, so I lived on a roommate with acreage, then I moved in with other, like, I was hopping around houses. What really led us back together was this business of, you know, like, living our healthiest lives and coaching. But then, you know, we were doing that for a while, and then I met my husband, who was in Morocco. And so, because he was in Morocco, I was here, and we had to go through the whole entire process of getting him to come into the United States.
And that's a whole other podcast.
And that's a whole other podcast.
But if you are curious, just Google the costs for a K-1 visa.
Yeah.
So.
And also the
attorneys, and paperwork, and legal fees.
And then there's also the very fact that once he got into the United States, we only had 90 days to get married. So we had also the wedding, and the wedding dress, and, you know, all of the wedding costs, you know.
There were costs. At that point in time, Taylor had her own apartment.
Yes.
It was less than a mile up the street.
I literally walked to her house.
Well, and after like weeks of her never even going home, like,
yeah, I would just sleep
on
the
the
couch there.
Hey, Taylor, no.
Well, we work together, so we would be like working late, and like, oh shit, it's like, you know, 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock. I'm like, I might as well just stay here. I mean, it makes more sense.
Yeah, so it was just time and time and time after that, and then once they decided that they were going to be a couple and the cost associated with that, we gave her our unwavering support, but it was also something that they had to do, which costs a lot, probably a lot more than some people even make in a year to get him here. And so she did all that. They did all that together.
I want to say, like, too, the majority, like, I paid from my pot, like, this was where most of my money was going, so it ended up being like, wow, I'm spending $900 a month at this apartment when this $900 could go towards bringing my fiance here, my wedding, and the silverware on each person's tray. Do you realize that it's like silverware costs like $3 per fork?
I paid for the wedding, so yes, I did.
She paid for a lot of them, yeah. That was mom.
I paid for the wedding.
You saved the day, by the way.
Moms are supposed to pay for the wedding, in my opinion. You know, whatever. The way it worked out was great. And the bottom line, though, is now they're thriving, and we are here. They chose to come here with us. We're in Florida now.
We hypothetically could have stayed in San Diego. We could have, but here's this thing: is we have this vision of our team and this retreat that we want to create, and That's another podcast too.
It is another podcast, but the long-term visions, our visions align even though they're separate. She wants to work with kids. I want to work with cancer patients. It's going to take property. It's going to take investment. It's going to take time. And we have very aligned visions. She's my best friend, even though she's an adult. We have moved into an adult relationship. I am not attached to her decisions or her behaviors. She's her own person, and I'm thankful for that. I'm not trying to force my opinions or views onto her. However, a lot of them are similar, and sometimes they're different. And we like to talk about those differences, but we're okay with it. We can agree to disagree.
We agree to disagree all the time. Several times she'll say something like, Mom, we're just going to agree to disagree.
And I'm like, cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
But, I mean, I just have always been wanting to create, her and my son, to grow into their own lives. And the fact that our lives have kind of aligned, we do get skeptics.
Yeah.
Oh, is she ever going to leave the nest? Oh, are you just paying for everything? No. Guess what? We just toured how many countries? She paid for her own way.
Yeah, I paid my
okay,
own way. I found out that people didn't think I paid my own way. You know what?
Yeah,
just because we choose to live together.
This was important to me to cover in our first topic because people, I think that she's stuck with me or that I'm just rescuing her.
Yeah.
And she has her own business, her own thriving, her own everything. We just align in a lot of things, and we're together a lot because we like those things, but we're also apart a lot and do our own separate things too. She's gone to Morocco for months at a time. She's done these things. She's her own individual, and she can leave at any time she wants. And if she did, I'm sure I would downsize. But
if
the
you
fact
saw
that we're
this
together,
house, you wouldn't want to leave anytime soon. You'd want to stay here forever.
We made the house choice because we decided to do it together, and it's like split living, okay? And we just got to make it clear that in all the travels we've been. Really, America seems to be the only culture that we've found that kicks their kids out of the house. In other cultures, the families grow together. And so we're just creating our own thing. If you don't like it, that's all right. She's allowed to do her own free thinking, her own free thing. She's allowed to do things that piss me off. She does. I do things that piss her off. We call each other bitches and then we get back at it.
Which we also wanted to put out there in this podcast that, we are Jesus-loving, cussing machines.
I like
Earth-going.
It's like what Rachel Hollis says. I love Jesus, but I swear a little. Or maybe
a lot.
Yeah. It's okay.
Just don't come here when we're working out.
Here's the disclaimer. The disclaimer is, this is our podcast. This is our vlog. We are going to be saying things that are probably inappropriate to some people. If you don't like us, that's totally okay. You're not our tribe. I mean, I'm super proud of these guys. They have got their crap together. They're planning the future. My feeling is, they can go move out and get another place. That's totally fine if they wanted to. We could too, but the thing is working together. Number one, you do save money. Even though money isn't an issue, it does make the world go around, and it does let us pour more into, I'm working towards this nonprofit, and she's working towards her nonprofit. So they just went and bought their first car together. They got a Jeep. They're doing all these adulting things. They are adulting. I don't have any idea. I don't look at their bank accounts. I don't know their stuff. They are living in a separate household on one side of the house. They literally live over there, and we live over there. There is a family room in between, but it works for us. So. I feel like you gotta just say fuck you to society and do what works for you.
In your family, in your life, and I think the reason why we also have such a strong relationship is you've always given me the freedom to just be me. I've always back in my high school rebellious days where I did the whole rave thing and the party thing. Yeah, you told me straight up, I don't like that you're doing this. This is not what I hope for you. But you know what? You're gonna go do you. Please let me know where you're at, what your address is. When you're coming home. She always made sure all the bases were covered. But she knew whether she told me or not. And that's the thing is I feel with most people who are trying to find themselves, you're gonna go do what you're gonna do. Whether you it's either gonna be I sneak out the window. I wouldn't have snuck out the window. That's not my personality.
I want to talk to everybody who's grown up in any sort of home and family environment where there's rules and everything. And I gotta say, he who did not break the rules cast the first stone. So I knew that there were things that she was going to do that she shouldn't do. But I also knew that she was going to do them anyway. And my preference was to know. I didn't stop her. I didn't ground her. I didn't beat her. I didn't do all the things.
She wanted to know when I was going to do
I wanted to know, and I was, of course, on my knees praying and hoping for a safe return, but at the same time, at least I knew where she was. And it wasn't me giving her the green light, and I wasn't giving her money to do this stuff. I wasn't providing the vehicles or any of these things. But if she's going to go, please let me know so that I know where to look if you don't come home, or you know, and also that is where my name came from, Mom What's for Dinner, because I embraced all these kids whose parents threw them out and said, you know, no, if you do that, you can't come home, and all those things. By the way, I've been that parent with, you know, previous. We learn from our mistakes. And it turned out, Mom, what's for dinner? They'd all come over to my house because they knew I would welcome them and love them. I didn't ask them if they were gay, if they were lesbian, if they were trans, if they were what they were. I loved them. And I feel like that is what needs to happen, is love them. And if you love your kids and they want to thrive and go off and do things and travel the world, embrace them and love them. If you love your kids and they are homebodies and want to stay home and build an empire, love them and let them stay at home and build an empire. You know, or if you yourself, as a human, want to go travel the world and it's time for your kids to grow up, do that. It's just it matters what your path is and what your journey is and what you want from life. We want the same things right now. Right now, our plan is to continue on this path. We don't have any plans anytime soon for them to move out or for us to move out or to go separate paths. We do know that Randy and I will be sailing. They'll be there for some of it. They won't be there for other parts of it. They're going to be building a family. Like we know we'll be branching off in some areas, but we ebb and flow, and it works.
It works.
Do you, boo?
Do you, boo boo? Ain't that right, Kiwi? Kiwi says, do you?
Yeah. I'm just gonna say, people need to stop with assumptions. I think I'm not being persecuted by these assumptions at all. I feel like she is. I feel like people think that, oh, you're living with your mom, when it's really not the case.
It's so true.
We're choosing to live together. It's not that she lives with me. It's just there, you know, we contribute to groceries. We contribute. Like, we're working together as a family because it works. And, you know, if that bugs some people, then they can have fun struggling on their own. We know we're all fucked up.
It's true.
I think that's the difference, is like, instead of trying to pretend and be something we're not, it's like we're trying to be better.
Yeah.
And we know we're fucked up. We embrace these, like, well, how can we do better? And we work together. And when you can work together with someone and better each other constantly, then work with it. If a time ever comes where we brought each other down and weren't moving each other forward in life, then I would totally say, Tay, you know, it's time to go pursue something. But right now we are pursuing something.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like we are helping so many people and pursuing so many things. She has her own separate business, by the way, too, guys. I hope it doesn't look like she's building my business, because that's just not the case, even though we all work together. But she's building...
My team's the chosen ones.
Yeah.
But it's funny because, like, I say we're the chosen ones of Nourish, but because this Nourish retreat, this retreat that we're creating is Nourish. It's the name, Nourish the retreat. And this retreat is where she's going to have her cancer patients, you know, come and be that nonprofit. This retreat is where I'm going to have my girls' camp come, and, you know, these girls and their youth and their high school are going to come, and they're going to learn about meditation and yoga and, like, all of that stuff. And so it's just like we have the same vision and the same thing, so we can just work together and collaborate together. Is both of our visions. Like, I'm just as passionate about this retreat and the cancer patients. When the cancer patients come, like, I'm going to be right there with her, helping and doing anything I can with these cancer patients, and vice versa. When my girls come, Mom's going to make sure our day that she comes and does a meditation with them. And it's like we just are using our gifts, because my gifts are completely different than Mom's gifts. Like, if you know my mom, like, she's very, like, you know, you tell her to get something done, 5 minutes later, magically it's like, she gets it done. Me, like, my brain swirls for quite a while before I'm able to process the things I need to get done. But I'm a creative. Like, I can create these videos, like this podcast that we're doing. I'm editing this right now. But that's my gift. Like, I have that creative aspect that, you know, we just work together, and that's the beauty of it. And my mom just happens to be my partner. And so is Kiwi. Kiwi's our partner in crime too, even though she distracts us half the time. If you have any questions about how we do it, or if you have any questions about our relationship after you have seen this, like, please post them below or wherever this is at. Message us.
We're really out there. It's not hard to reach us.
It really isn't hard to reach us. Let us know what you want to hear from us.
We only want to hear from positive people.
Yeah, if you want to like troll us, then
we'll troll you right back.
Yeah.
No, we just don't give energy to that shit.
That's right. What you put out, you get back. So if you're trolling us, we love you.
Cheers to awakenings and growing together.
Yeah, cheers to that.
Cheers.